Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Gourmet Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into the PTA pregame show. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Jacob in Wisconsin. We'll have Emilio joining us here shortly. He's late as usual, and I'm sure Jacob won't give him a hard time for that. As we get ready, we're roughly an hour and 15 minutes away from kickoff. Packers, Commanders, two of the best teams in the NFC. Obviously, two teams that really turned the page on their franchise last year and put themselves in that conversation of being in the upper echelon of the National Football Conference. So really excited to dive into everything. I know the chat's already on fire. Appreciate you guys making us a part of your pregame festivities. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of those pregame festivities. Listen, we're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We are fans just like you talking Packers on the daily. This is our pregame show. As soon as the game's over, you can hop right back over to the YouTube channel. We'll be live for a postgame show. We also do film breakdown, the whole 9 yards. So if you're looking for Packers content, make sure you subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified every time we go live. Jacob, I'm waiting to hear the noise from you, man. I'm waiting to hear that. It's almost game time. Let's hear it.
I'm gonna channel it. I know that in another about 30 minutes it'll start coming on strong. So right now I think I'm still all right. But I have a weird, I don't want to jinx anything, obviously knock on wood, but I've got a quiet confidence just going into this game. I don't know why. Maybe I should be a little more hesitant about that, but I just feel like that it's our time and that these guys are going to be pumped up for the second week in a row at Lambeau. I believe that's the first time that's happened in, quite a while. I think 2020 was the last time maybe it happened. But anyways, I'm just excited. How pumped are you guys to see a Micah Parsons with another few days under his belt, maybe get that playbook back to 100%? And yeah, man, let's go.
Yeah, gotta love football season, man. It's such a nice breath of fresh air, break away from the real world. Obviously, Team Tron with the super chat here. Appreciate you, Tron. He says, hard to focus on this game today. I pray for you all. Thank you, boys, for continuing to spread positivity and for providing a place away from the evil that walks this planet. Stay safe, y'all. Yeah, hey, thank you so much, and very well said, Tron. We appreciate the super chat, and nothing else to add to it, man. Just very appreciative of everybody in this community that we've created for sure, man. And look, no better time to go ahead and acknowledge the fact that it's September 11th today. Pretty wild that the Packers actually played at the time, the Washington Redskins, who are now the Commanders. I believe the first Monday Night Football after 9/11 when that happens. So obviously, Titletown on their X account, they posted this video, and they've got the 2,976 flags there in front of Lambeau, honoring all those that lost their lives during 9/11 and those horrible terrorist attacks. And I just want to say thank you to all the first responders, no matter what city you're in, no matter what, I don't even know if branch is the right term or not, whether you're a firefighter, you're a paramedic, you're a police officer. Thank you, guys and gals, for always putting your life on the line to keep us safe. So obviously never forget those who lost their lives in the 9/11 tragedies. So, Jacob, I know it's kind of a heavy way of starting the show, but let's shift gears and do exactly what Tron talked about, man. Have a little positive, little football talk here, man. I know you said you feel pretty good about this game against the Commanders. I think I feel similar. In no way, shape, or form am I saying, oh, yeah, we're going to win this game. I think they've got a really good shot at winning the game. I think it's going to come down to all the basics of protecting the football and trying to take the ball away. Don't try to get too greedy. Make sure you're in it to win it there at the end. Put yourself in a position to control the game in the second half. I think the Packers will be in good shape. Now, Jaden Daniels, man, everything hinges on how we're going to control Jaden Daniels. This dude is an up-and-coming superstar. And I know it's just year two, and he's kind of stepping into that year that everybody was expecting C.J. Stroud to continue what he did his rookie year. He took a step back, but Jaden Daniels last week looked pretty darn good. And if we have time on the backside, we'll obviously get into the box score from that. So, I don't know, man. How do you feel about stopping Jaden Daniels right off the bat here, man?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's going to take. Jaden Daniels is basically their number one rusher for all intents and purposes. They got, obviously, Bill, a.k.a. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, or whatever the heck his name is. He's a little kind of lightning bug, water bug, very, very shifty. But I think the key is going to be obviously you stop Daniels, and that's pretty much the game plan. You got to go. Now, we talked about in previous episodes whether or not they can assign a spy. Like, that just kind of depends on the coverage and what's going on in that situation. But I do have a quiet confidence again that I feel like between Quay and Edge, that these guys are going to be very smart and not maybe over pursue, maybe let Parsons and Gary get a little headstrong and do that, take care of that, and just kind of play more of a cleanup role, making sure that he doesn't skirt through, some of those holes and absolutely kill us with his legs, which is what Jaden Daniels has made his career so far, his young career doing. And they've got some guys, obviously you guys know how much I love Bobby Wagner, the absolutely unaging Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu. I was listening to John Gruden's breakdown of the upcoming match of the game. And the way, what did he say? That there's only one linebacker in the last 3 years that has over 250 tackles and 20 sacks. That's Frankie Louvu. So the two linebackers on their side are about as impressive as our two linebackers for different ways and different reasons. So it's going to be a freaking matchup, man. But I really do think that the Packers have the edge. It's just whether or not they come out and perform.
Yeah. And in terms of stopping Jaden Daniels from his ability to scrambling and any RPO action they have, there's a multitude of ways that you can do this. And understand, guys, watching the tape, like the coaching staff watching the last 4 game saturation, probably the last 2 head-to-head against both Dan Campbell and Cliff Kingsbury, who's obviously the OC there for Washington, no matter what team they were with. I think that what you're going to look for in tendencies is, when does Jaden Daniels scramble? Where does he scramble to? Does he scramble left more than he does right, or vice versa? And there's a couple of different ways that you can contain that, right? Well, there's 3 different ways, really. You can do an outside edge rush contain, where you're not really driving towards the quarterback. You're kind of holding that contain outside, so when he tries to bounce out, you're there, you're protected. You can also put a mid-spy in there. Think of Edgerrin Cooper or Quay Walker. I think Quay Walker would be better fit for that. That way you can let Cooper kind of attack in other areas, kind of play to their strengths, because Quay Walker has the athleticism to run down Jaden Daniels. There's no doubt in my mind. So you could put that little mid-spy in there as a part of your spot drop zone defense. And then if you want to get a little bit aggressive and we start to run these torch stunts or these TE stunts, then have someone like a Micah Parsons lining up at Joker and running that scrape spy off of those TE and ET stunts. So there's a number of different ways that you can do it. Mark my words, though, the game plan will be geared around, we're not going to let Jaden Daniels beat us on the ground. We're not going to let him beat us over the top, and we're not going to let him run all over the yard. That's going to be the key to winning this game, I believe. So 2-0 for this in the chat says Agent Michael Scarn is a good spy. Agent Michael Scarn is probably the best spy, right? What was it? Dwick? What was it? The word that he forgot to
Twigged. Yeah.
Yeah. But one dwit. So gotta love The Office, man. It's so good. So there's a shot from Wes Highquist at the stadium. Obviously, the weather's going to be absolutely gorgeous in Green Bay tonight. So really, really excited about that. All right, let's move along here. Let's talk about the actives, inactives, all that good stuff. Rob Domofsky tweeted out earlier, Jacob, we got some bad news for you, boy, Brenton Cox Jr. here. Brenton Cox Jr. to the injured reserve. Now, listen, guys, it doesn't mean he's done for the year, although that could be the case. We haven't heard any details yet.
Don't say that.
You don't say that. Anytime anybody goes on injured reserve during the regular season, they have to be on it for 4 weeks, and then you can reactivate them, right? So there's a chance we'll see Brenton Cox Jr. back later in the year. Now, tackle Brant Banks and cornerback Micah Robinson were elevated from the practice squad for tonight's game versus Washington. So that immediately makes you think, oh, crap, no Nate Hobbs, and one of the offensive linemen aren't playing. Actually, not quite accurate, as you can see here. Rob Domofsky put a tweet out a few minutes ago talking about who's active, who's inactive. Nate Hobbs is officially active. So I wonder if he'll be on a snap count or not. I'm really excited, Jacob, to see Nate Hobbs out there. However, the bad news is both offensive line starters, Zach Tom and Aaron Banks, are out tonight. Okay. So again, I don't look at that and go, oh, crap, we're in trouble. I really don't. I think the offensive line protected pretty darn well last week. I think we'll be okay. You need to establish the run early. And if I remember correctly, that was one of Gruden's keys to the game, right, Jacob, is get Josh Jacobs going early at this defense.
Yes, sir. That is correct. And again, this is not something that's ideal. Obviously, anytime you're not having what I would consider one of the, if not the best right tackles in the game, being Zach Tom. Aaron Banks, I'm still, the jury's out a little bit on whether or not he's going to play up to the contract that we gave him. But I have a quiet confidence, again, in the fact that we have probably #1 draft pick, Mr. Jordan Morgan's, I would assume, is going to slip into that left guard position. Would you think Kennard is probably going to play right tackle? Does that kind of seem like the writing on the wall there?
What was the question? I'm sorry, man. I was reading a message from somebody.
Yeah, that Kennard would probably slip into right tackle, and Morgan would slip into left guard.
Yeah, I think so. You know, they went with Anthony Belton toward the backside of that game, and I don't know how many snaps Anthony Belton actually had. It's either going to be Belton or it's going to be Kennard. If I had to choose, I think I would rather put Kennard out there over Belton. But if they go with Belton, it's also a good sign that they have a lot of faith in Belton here recently. You know, so we'll see how that shakes out. As you can see here, the Packers inactives are cornerback Bo Melton, safety Zane Anderson, offensive tackle Zach Tom, guard Aaron Banks, tight end Ben Sims, and defensive tackle Warren Brents and Nate Hobbs will play. So Bo Melton, Jacob, I think that's a pretty good hit there, man. That's one of your special teams aces, you know. So the fact that he's missing, that might hurt you a little on special teams. But I do think we got some other dogs that's probably going to step up and help fill that role, whether it's a platoon aspect or if maybe one guy wants to step into that role and just kind of play Bo Melton for the night. I think last week I think Xavier McKinney was in on special teams.
Yeah,
like they're really not holding anything back there. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, that might be something to, small little wrinkle in what we're trying to do here, because Bo Melton, special teams guy, Zane Anderson, very big special teams guy. I'm sure that Ben Sims probably sees some time there, but I think Brenton Cox was a special teams guy. So that's a little intriguing. That could be a storyline that maybe people aren't quite looking for. Are you surprised again with with Brinson being an inactive again, or is it just they just love or need Stackhouse's body type? Is that kind of more what your read on it is?
Yeah, I think they feel really good about Kobe Wooden and Carl Brooks, along with Devontae Wyatt. So they're kind of 3 deep there. And then you got Nas Stackhouse to play nose if you find yourself in a situation where you need to bring a 5-man front, a jam front, and put him, whether it's at shade or directly at a zero tech right over the center. I think Warren Brinson is just like, if he were to be active, Jacob, he's going to be like 5th on the depth chart.
Right.
Is the way I see it. Because the other thing is we're playing a lot of cheetah package. If you guys don't know what cheetah package is, that's LVN, Rashawn Gary, and Michael Parsons on the field at the same time with Devontae Wyatt. So when they go to their 11 personnel, it seems like, and tonight will be a good test of whether this holds true or not, it seems like LVN in our nickel package is going to be playing a whole lot of 3-tech and some 4-eye when we go to those wide looks, those wide front looks. So that's why I think Jacob Warren Brinson is it's looking like this might be a red shirt year, or we might not see him until the second half of the season. That makes sense. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, that makes sense. I saw some people in the comments asking if he was hurt. I think it's a healthy scratch, if I'm not mistaken. So just the fact, like you said, we just have a certain body type, the fact that obviously Parsons came in and, he's going to dictate. I'm interested to see what the snap counts are going to be, the amount of percentage that he plays. But I really love the idea that LVN could see not limited time, but just more snaps at maybe that like a 5-tech, a 3-tech, wherever they want to try to get him in to the game. Like you said, whether it be the cheetah package, even on whether it's a base defense, he's strong enough and big enough that he can kick inside a little bit more than the typical edge defender. So I really want to see them utilize LVN. I know that there's some rumors that he may have been felt a certain type of way when they brought in Parsons. What better way to just keep him on the field and just get him more production and let him build that? You know what I mean? And if I'm not mistaken, I think Sorrell's going to be good to go tonight, right?
I don't know, man. I mean, he wasn't listed as inactive, right? He's got to be. So,
right. So I'm excited about that too.
Bro, if we see some 99 out there, you're gonna hear me get loud on Twitter. I love that dude. I'm so excited to see what he does when the real bullets start flying here tonight. Badger Trio, a listener of the show, appreciate you, buddy. He is in the house at Lambeau. Says seems like a mixed bag so far, white and green. So you can see here his shot from his seats. Let's go back to the other view a little bit better. So yeah, it's going to be an awesome night of football for sure, man. As they're looking to do the wide out game, that's why I had to throw the Rashawn Gary jersey on tonight, man. We got to honor the wide out game. It's going to be absolutely awesome. And the winter warning game, last time, if you guys remember, I believe we beat the Houston Texans with a game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
And Jacob, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was Brandon McManus. Was that his first game?
I want to say that's true because it was one of those things. I remember going into that kick and I'm like, this is not going to be good. And then basically ever since that time, the guy's been nearly perfect. So
yeah, and you can see the iced out uni there with the white helmet. I love the white helmets. I don't know how you feel, Jacob. I haven't seen many people say they don't like it.
I love it. I mean, that's the whole point of the winter whiteout. Now, obviously, it's a little premature, being that it's like 80 degrees today or whatever. But I still think that it's going to be a really big boost. And it is kind of weird. Like there's studies about like the sociology or the mentality of like guys that like literally when they feel good, they play good. Think they look good, they play good. And those guys are going to be, what a better time, honestly, now that I think about it, when you're coming off of a short week, you know, after a really big divisional win, and you got to come back and you maybe don't have, you know, a lot of your endurance. The guys are playing not quite up to football speed. What's a little something to give you an edge? Well, I don't know. Let's just throw on the all whites and just kind of oof. And, you know, Micah Parsons is going to appreciate that, being the Penn State guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. We got Bosco Jenkins in the house. Appreciate you, buddy, with the super chat. He says, can Josh Jacobs still get that accolade tonight? I don't know, man. You guys were talking about that last week. What was the accolade? It was
126 yards rushing to get to be the third fastest to 7,000 yards in the modern era.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe this one game throws that off or not, to be honest with you, Bosco. I should know that, but I'm not a big stats guy either. I'm more of a tape guy, tape nerd, understanding the X's and O's type thing. I don't keep up with some of the milestone statistics. I do remember that being mentioned last week, though. So maybe somebody can run that down in the chat for you, but we appreciate the super chat, man. I'll tell you what I'm really excited about, though, is our boy Edgerrin Cooper for the second week in a row, as Jacob Morley shared this from Edgerrin Cooper's Instagram story. Same week, same pick, Edgerrin Cooper game 2. So he shared it again. Jacob, man, I'm telling you, Edgerrin Cooper looked like a monster last week. He was all over the tape. I'm telling you, he was sideline to sideline. When he covered that, he damn near covered a deep third. It was truly it was kind of a curl. It was supposed to be a curl flat. He dropped back like 14, 15 yards, and he had no problem mugging the C gap and getting that deep back into coverage. It was so awesome seeing him just continue to build off that rookie year. He's one of those players that I'm starting to get really, really comfortable after the camp he's had. And then, of course, week 1, Jacob, I'm not that concerned with Edgerrin Cooper having a sophomore slump at all. I think this dude is built for this moment, man.
Yeah, I agree completely. You looked at his stat line, and again, this is going to be another game where I think they rely a lot on his just intuitiveness, him not over pursuing, him taking a step and watching Jaden Daniels and then reacting, and the way that he just seems to shed blocks effortlessly and he always seems to take the right path to evade blocks, to do all this sort of stuff. It's pretty impressive, man.
Yeah, definitely. So Edgerrin Cooper fired up for the game tonight for sure. We also had QB1 walking into the facility earlier today. As you can see, Jay Love coming in ready for Thursday night football on Prime. My man just keeping it pretty simple. He's so swagged out, though, dude. Love this guy. Listen, he had a great game last week. That's the type of game I was talking about, Jacob. Like, you ain't got to go out there and throw for 350, bub. You ain't even got to throw for 300. Protect the football, take what the defense gives you, and let this defense eat. Let them cook. Let them get the ball back for you. Let the other team make the mistake. There's going to come times where he's going to have to go out there and gunsling, and we know it's coming. And I think I counted maybe two, maybe 3 throws that he had last week where I was like, I'd like to have that one back. Bad decision there. But he looked healthy, and that was the big question mark we had coming into this season. If he's truly healthy, obviously the knee looks good. Everything looks good. The thumb too, Jacob. I don't remember seeing anything last week where I was like, oh, that thumb's still bothering him.
No, and that's impressive because I watched on a couple times where he got pushed down pretty hard and he had to use that left hand to kind of break the fall. And I didn't see no wincing, no signs of pain, no grabbing it, nothing like that. So like you said, the key to him is just like you said, just play within the system. Don't try to do too much. You know that you got a defense now that can bail you out of certain situations. I agree. There was maybe 1 or 2 throws that was like, oh, but then there was maybe 1 or 2 where he just had a little air underneath. I don't know if you remember. I believe it was early first quarter. He kind of sailed one over Tucker's head. It would have been probably a touchdown easy. But, if he can come in and establish, just like you said, maybe like some quick slants and that kind of stuff. See if you can rely on Jacobs, just get him in a rhythm. I really do feel like that, tonight being in the home crowd again, wearing the winter whites, things are gonna click. Hey, Emilio.
Speaking of winter whites, we've got Emilio in the house.
Don't worry, the party's here. Man, Jacob, you can go now. Thanks for holding it down.
See you guys.
So, Emilio, how you feeling about this game? And I know you just sat down. I seen the Oktoberfest there off camera.
Oh, yeah.
You ain't fooling nobody. What do you think, man? How you feeling about this game? Jacob sounds like he feels pretty good. Now, he's not saying it's going to be a blowout by no stretch of the imagination, but he feels good with where the Packers are building off of last week. I feel like I know we're missing 2 offensive linemen. In case you didn't hear, Zach Tom and Aaron Banks both out. However, we are getting Nate Hobbs back for this game. Yeah, how you feeling?
I didn't see that Hobbs was back. I did see. I had it pulled up on NFL here, so I was kind of watching a little pregame as I was getting in. Zane Bowe still out, all that, but yeah, it's tough that we don't have 2 offensive linemen, but this is kind of what Goody prepared for us. This is kind of why we went out and did everything. You don't have Glover, right? So we have to make a decision going in there. So Kennard, you're getting a shot. Morgan, you're getting a shot. Belton, be ready. Strap up, one play, and you could be out there. So I think that we're in a good spot. I like Jacob's sentiment there. Yeah, we're in a good spot. I think coming off a short week, a big win, it might help us a little. I think that that could be a benefit to us. We'll see. I'm sure Tim's going to be screaming at everybody out there, so I love that energy, and I think it's just going to be pretty cool, it being a whiteout and just under the lights. You always get a good feeling playing under the lights. Kind of miss that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I'll tell you somebody I'm excited to see on the field tonight, and I think he's due for a big game, is Xavier McKinney. Obviously out there getting warmed up during pregame. This is a guy that we're going to need this. Listen, if we go to a lot of cloud coverage, and I think that would be the move tonight, if you can go to cloud coverage and allow those corners to be a little more aggressive in the run fit on the outside, that'll help with some of the zone read and some of the RPR looks with the 6-back offense that Cliff Kingsbury ran fairly well his early years there in Arizona, and now obviously doing the same thing with a very mobile Jaden Daniels. Now, if you play cloud, right, if you play cloud where the safeties are going to help bracket over the top, I love the idea of Xavier McKinney being over the top. Let Evan Williams stay down around the box and let just make sure that Jaden Daniels has to look out there and go, do I really want to throw to scary Terry McLaurin knowing Xavier McKinney's out there? That type of thing. So I want to get your all's take on that. What do y'all think about where would you like to see X lined up tonight? Where would you like to see the majority of his snaps in terms of stopping Jaden Daniels in this great Commander offense?
I wouldn't mind actually having him up close to the line. I think X kind of really likes being up. Obviously, he had 8 picks last year or whatever, but he does like being up there. Every time I look down, it's never really Evan that's standing on the line being one of the 8 in the box or anything like that. It's X. X wants to be up in that. He wants to be up in the business, and I absolutely love that. Maybe 50-50, but I think that he does a lot of good work when he's close in the box, and just being able to maybe, hey, I see X on the left side, maybe you got Mike on the right side. Do I want to throw the RPO to X's side if I got this read option going to Micah's side? Then Jaden's got to get into that quick decision mentality, which he practices it for. He's got that VR, and he does it at double speed like I listen to pods, but he he's not. I mean, he's prepared for it, but we got to test him. He's still young, could have a sophomore slump. You never know. And I think that we're in a good spot where we are right now. Jacob, would you want him up top, Jacob, or you want him down by the line of scrimmage?
I kind of shadow what Coach Len says. He says I want X at post safety, not just because I don't think he could do. I think he does whatever he wants to do at an exceedingly high level, elite level. I really like Evan Williams' game, and maybe him a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage, and mixing between the linebackers as well. Kind of just. I don't want anybody to sleep on Jaden Daniels. So if you have guys, on the D line that are kind of paying attention, if the linebackers are taking a certain notice, but I just feel like that X is such a good commander of that defense that I kind of want him being a little more at that post safety spot, just kind of really having a good overview of the whole lay of the land. But honestly, whatever they do, I'm confident that they're going to pick the right game plan. Jeff Hafley just to me he's batting 1,000 right now, dude. I'm so impressed with him. The more that I see him talk, the more I see his game plan, the way he interacts with players. Like, I'm convinced that this dude can do no wrong at this point.
Yeah, for sure, man. Oh, it's going to be so much fun, dude. I can't wait. I can't wait for this thing to get kicked off here. If you guys would do us a big favor, we've got a bunch of people in here. We got 183 watching live on YouTube and only 48 likes. If you guys would please just take a quick second, hit that like button. What it does is it tells the rest of the YouTube world, hey, these guys don't suck as bad as it sounds, right? Come in here and watch the stream. It'll boost us up the algorithm. We greatly appreciate that. Let's talk about what the Commanders did last week against an absolutely horrible New York Giants team here. All right, let's start on offense. Jaden Daniels last week, 19 of 30 for 233 yards passing and 1 touchdown. He was sacked 3 times where he lost 21 yards. That kind of went to the wayside there a little bit. The big thing here, though, guys, they were up 14-3 at halftime. And then after the third quarter, it was 14-6. That game was a lot closer than that 21-6 score would tell you there, you know? And this is against a bad football team with the New York Giants. So I want to get your all's take on the way Jaden Daniels played. Now, the X factor, obviously, is Jaden Daniels' ability to run the football like we've been talking about. He did have 11 carries for 68 yards. I want to see that number cut in half tonight. You know what I mean? I want to see it to where, like I was saying earlier, get some of those scrape spies going, get some of that where you could still be aggressive up front and have someone with an eye on him. And what you're doing is you're trying to force the pressure to the throw side. And then as he tries to run left, then you've got the scrape spy coming off of that, whether it's Parsons, whether it's Quay, whether it's Edgerrin Cooper. All 3 of those defenders have the speed to keep Jaden Daniels in check. This defense is built to stop quarterbacks like Jaden Daniels. That's not to take anything away from him. I'm just saying his scrambling ability, if he goes out and scrambles for 11 carries for 68 yards again, something went terribly wrong for this Packers defense.
Yeah. No, that's a fact. I mean, you're going to want to contain this guy. He's got that mobility. He can throw it. That's all you need in a dual threat quarterback. And I think that Heffley has enough. You know, we have enough talent to do it. He has the scheme to do it. Sometimes you may need to spy him. You know, are you going to go man and not have contain and not have a spy? Probably not. Are you going to be running zone? More than likely, yeah. But you can still have contain with your edge rushers. We've seen that. I mean, like we went over it. They were 4 for 11 on third downs last week. We can win a game if they go 4 and 11 on third downs. I mean, that's something that we went 4 for 4 on our first drive on third downs and went down and got us a touchdown. So that's one drive, right?
Right. And with Jeff Hafley obviously taking over the defense last year, I think Nick McSwain makes a great point here, Jake. The Packers did great versus the Eagles plus Hurts last year. Not concerned with Daniels running around a lot. There you go. And another thing that keeps getting brought up too is obviously their running back, Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt, 10 carries, 82 yards last week, right? So he was averaging 8.2 a pop with a touchdown as well. However, you guys remember leading up to the Lions game, people were talking about, like Benny D said here, you know, Gibbs and Monty, like, hey, this might be the best running back duo in the entire league. We held them to 2.1 carries. So anything you want to add to all of that right there, Jacob, in terms of Jaden Daniels' running ability and obviously, what did you call him, Bob, Bill? What was Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt's nickname?
Bill, Bill, Bill.
Got it.
Yeah, you know, he's a very shifty back, but as you see there, Jaden Daniels was their leading rusher in terms of carries and almost in yards. Had a long of 14. Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt had a long of 42, so that definitely helps his average there. But I still think that the one thing that kind of makes me a little more confident again is Jaden Daniels taking 3 sacks. That's another kind of aspect that we maybe brushed past, that Love didn't have a single sack, no interceptions, played very much within that pocket, took the chance to run when he had to, but not forcing it, where I feel like Jaden Daniels, not like a Caleb Williams, where he just looks for the run seemingly at every single play, but it seems like he is more willing to use his legs and create opportunities. I saw somebody in the chat earlier said that Jaden Daniels reminds them of a younger Aaron Rodgers, about how they can just keep that play going to find opportunities. I kind of agree with that. I think that Jaden probably wants to run a little more than even young Aaron did, but he's got guys. If everything's clicking for them, like you talked about, Debo, Austin Eckler, Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz, even some of the younger guys like Bill, you know. But I think it all starts with that defensive line and how much pressure they're getting. And again, I hate beating the dead horse, but Micah Parsons, man, I think he's going to have a big impact on what kind of game plan the offense of Washington's going to be able to even run.
No, I think it's a great point, Jacob. And Emilio, to his point, last year, I think they said in the 2 games that the Commanders played the Cowboys, Micah Parsons had 4 sacks. Is that
4
what it was?
and a half.
4.5.
Yep.
I mean, we're built for this, man.
No, we are. And one of those sacks, Jacob, I'm pretty sure, or not even a sack, one of the should have been 4 sacks for Jaden, but he had a intentional grounding on one of them. He just
That's
chucked
right.
it up, and so you have problems on the O-line a little bit that you might be able to take advantage of. Can they handle the stunts? Can they handle straight up rushes? And then on the stunts, are we still containing? Are we still staying in our lanes? Still got to fit our run fits, but I don't think Hafley's going to get away from wanting to stop the run. Why would he get rid of all of that he's worked so hard for the past 2 years, going on 2 years now with, hey, I'm just going to try to contain him, not worry about the run, stop his passing. All right, let's see if he needs to pass it. All right, can you get it out in 3.5? If not, we're probably getting to you. That's kind of where we're at right now until we see otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. So looking at their receiving targets here, okay, Deebo Samuel led the day, 7 catches for 77 yards off 10 targets, had a long of 21. Chris Moore had 1 catch for 34 yards. Austin Eckler, 3 catches for 31 yards. Noah Brown, 2 for 27. Terry McLaurin was targeted 4 times, only 2 catches for 27 yards. I think he might be a little rusty too with the holdout and missing a lot of training camp as well. So when you look at the wide receivers, 2 that you got to really key in on is obviously Terry McLaurin. He could blow up this game and make last week look like it was just a fluke, right? And Deebo Samuel seems like he still got some gas in the tank, and we got to watch for those jet sweeps. Don't be surprised if they kick Deebo back into the backfield, run a little zone read with him. You think about it in that regard, the same way we like to use our running backs, and sometimes we flex Josh Jacobs out of an empty set. You could see them coming out, breaking the huddle with, say, a 12 personnel, and then all of a sudden go 12 empty, shift the running back out of the backfield, and then have Deebo come into the backfield. All of a sudden, you're probably going to have a corner or a safety trying to meet into the run fit as opposed to a linebacker. That's how you really take advantage of those mismatches. So what do y'all think about the receiving room here? Is there anything you're overly worried about? Do you think Terry McLaurin is still the top target here? Do you think maybe Deebo took a little bit of that away from him?
I mean, to me, I'm a little bit surprised that Deebo had 10 targets versus McLaurin's 4. So I would look for them to try to get McLaurin a little more involved, probably early and often, just because Deebo can't do everything by himself there. And he is taking quite a beating from his time in San Fran, and what they're seemingly asking him to do in Washington isn't necessarily as much, taking stuff out of the backfield and all sorts of, jet sweeps and that sort of stuff. But I just have a weird feeling that they're going to try to get Terry McLaurin involved in this game early and often.
Yeah, I would think that I'd be a little bit more worried about Zach Ertz. You want to kind of contain that tight end. You don't want to, anything to get lost in the middle of the field there. But I'm Deebo at 7, 10 targets. I would be happy. I would think I would be happier if this same kind of stat line came out. If we keep Scary Terry under 4 or 5 targets, keep him out of the game, kind of, leave it to Deebo to beat us. I think we have the speed to keep up with him. I think that we can rally quick. You're going to see white hats all over the place. I think they're going to be flying around. I would rather keep this same sort of thing. If Deebo gets the most targets, Zach Ertz, then Scary, I think I'd be all right with that.
You guys are crushing the likes. We're up to 91 likes now. You guys are killing it. Thank you all so much for taking a second to do that. We got over 200 watching in here on YouTube. If you just joined the stream, thanks. Welcome into PTA. Appreciate you making us part of your pregame festivities. Hit that like button for us if you don't care. Grab you a cold drink, sit down and enjoy the show. So moving on to defense, Bobby Wagner, surprise, surprise. Jacob led the way. 10 tackles, 5 solo, 1 for a loss. Frankie Louvu, the guy you were talking about, right? 7 tackles, 1 solo there on the day. In terms of sacks, you had Deron Payne had a pretty good day. It looks like he had a sack and a tackle for a loss. Dorrance Armstrong had a sack as well. PFF seemed to think that who was it that had a great game? I'm trying to think. Who's their interior? I'm already overlooking.
Is it either Deron Payne, Kinlaw? Okay.
Yeah, they graded him out really well, which was odd because he hasn't graded out that well his entire career. So, according to PFF, he had a good game. He did have 1 tackle for a loss, only 3 tackles. He did not have any sacks. So, when I looked at it here, to me, it's more about Deron Payne. And then, of course, they're showing Von Miller here as a starter. We know this. Listen, Von Miller might have hit the wall, Jacob, but Von Miller can still have flashes of old Von Miller. You got to be careful there and make sure you know where he's at all times.
Yeah, I believe I saw a stat that he only played like 28% of the snaps, but it was basically his role now is that of just a pass rusher in extreme, long situations, third downs, that sort of thing. I did also see a mix between Ryan's podcast earlier this week and a couple others where Washington, this last game, has drastically outperformed their average PFF scores, if that makes sense. So these guys played well above what their normal, I don't want to say floor, but kind of what their normal average is. And so I look for some sort of aggression coming into another week against what I consider a much better opponent, obviously, than playing the Giants. And, if the Packers come in and they have that game plan like Halfley put together last week, it's going to be tough. I think that the PFF grades may come back down this week. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. All right, Emilio, anything you want to add to their defense there, man? Anything stick out to you?
Yeah, they're just a little bit older, a little bit slower than us. I think that we can be
a bit older.
Little bit of youth and speed. I think that they were saying on here, the telecast there, that nobody over the age of 27 scored a touchdown last year. So it's like, I don't think we got really any older that's, going to be able to score one. Maybe, we hit 27 this year. But it's like, dude, we are young. We have speed. We have talent. This offense can move the ball. Matt can scheme it. I'm not really worried about anybody out there until they start proving to me otherwise that we need to worry about this offense or this defense. Right now, I'm happy where everybody is. Go out there, play football. We can, look at it at halftime. All right, where are we having troubles? I'm just ready to watch some football right now, honestly.
Oh, yeah. You can see the guys coming out of the tunnel here, the all whites looking good. Stadium starting to fill in. The weather is absolutely perfect. The concrete slab, I will always point out, man, I absolutely love this. And I'm sure everybody knows about it, but you'll notice underneath the players' feet here, you like that? Underneath their feetsies, this old concrete slab they pulled from the old North Tunnel. And that was done by Mike Sherman, or suggested by Mike Sherman, the then head coach / general manager. Said he wanted the same concrete broke out of the old tunnel that Lombardi's Packers ran over to go onto the field and put it in the new tunnel. Love that that's the stuff that's different in Green Bay from other places.
Would they use chop saw on that, Clay? How do you think they got that out of there?
Hey, listen, do it. I don't want none of those where you're just walking behind it. Do it the working man Gatorade way. Get the curb saw out. Do it like a grown ass man.
Arch your back, really put all the weight right on the spine, and just hold that thing there for 25-30 minutes, bent over. You'll be fine.
I think one of the baddest things I ever used when I was in construction, we had to demo a nuclear facility in Irwin, Tennessee. I'm in full Tyvek double dog bone mask, right? You can imagine my big head in one of those masks. And we broke out a marine chainsaw because you couldn't use any gasoline products in the building. This marine chainsaw was so cool. It was hydraulic powered, and it was just literally just running water constantly through the blade. The blade on that thing was like 4 feet long, cut through concrete walls. Bro, it was unbelievable. Absolutely. That's when I was drinking about 18 High Lifes a day too, and weighed about 245 pounds. I was a pissed off young man, let me tell you. Every day, people were like, he scares me a little bit. Like, he looks like the type of person going to try to hurt somebody. I was just in a bad mood my entire life during that time, and it was just but yeah, that marine chainsaw. Woo, boy. I was like, can I take this home with me when we're done? I don't think the Geiger meter is going to allow that, bub. It's probably going to come out of that concrete wall hot, I would imagine. So, anyway, yeah. So I looked down and seen J. Cole said, "Arch your back." What the hell? I don't even know what's going on in the chat. I don't want to know there. So we'll just keep it moving. Here we got Nate Hobbs out on the field warming up, looking good in them all whites. Love that shirt, by the way. That's what I got underneath this jersey right here, man. That's that hoodie right there, that sideline hoodie. What do y'all think Nate Hobbs is going to do tonight? You think he'll play every defensive snap?
I don't know about every defensive snap. I think he might be on a little bit of a pitch count, just trying to get that real football win, that football endurance kind of back. But I'm really excited. That might be my biggest storyline going into this game now that he is active, to see how he performs. I remember watching him or hearing the stories about him in preseason and camp, just being an absolute headhunter, a meat missile, if you will, a human meat missile. And I want to see that transform into week 2. And I actually want to see, because imagine how great we looked on defense last week. If you add an absolute dominant physical corner into that mix as well, I mean, no shade against Carrington, and Keyshawn to me is always willing to throw his head in the mix and that kind of stuff. But Nate Hobbs just seems like a different type of animal, man. Just absolute headhunter.
Emilio, you know what I would love to see from Nate Hobbs or not? I'd love to see them roll him down to nickel, 1 or 2 snaps. Yeah. He'll get a backside blitz, a sack, a strip sack, and then get a pick in the game too. how awesome would that be his Lambeau debut? Just have him go out there and absolutely ball out, man.
Hey, I would take it if that's what happens, man. They'll probably honestly, I think they're just going to keep Bull in the slot as much as possible. I think Hobbs will be outside as much as they can get him. Just because if you're worried about something, you're worried about a foot, knee, whatever. Do you want him to always have to worry about two-way goes? Yeah, he's going to have to worry about it at outside corner, but maybe all right, I had the boundary. I'm going to force some boundary. I had the safety over the top. All this, that. Yeah, I would rather him, be able to have another defender on his side just because you're still coming back from injury. They were saying Micah played 45% of the snaps last week. I wouldn't see Nate Hobbs going over that. I think he's coming back from more of an injury than Micah was. I wouldn't see him peaking definitely over 50%. I wouldn't think. If he does, cool. I'm glad. That means he's in a better spot than I thought, than maybe we thought. But there's no point in forcing that. You're going to have 10 days off after this. We got a mini bye. Just get through this game. Get some reps. Start to get your game speed. Get a little winded, and then get out and repeat.
Here you got Jordan Love warming up next to Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden and Agent Zero looks sweet in that all white, man. Look at that guy right there. Got the
he did it right. Got the shoes all white, going up with the socks all white. You just you lose everything on the ground there.
Yeah, we need that first tutter tonight. And again, guys, we talked about this earlier in the week in terms of schematics and what they may do. Washington last year, they ran a whole bunch of middle field close. Okay, and what that means is single high safety, and this is post snap rotation. All right, 25% of their snaps on defense was cover 3 zone defense or a match principle. 28% was cover 1 man. All right, so you're going to see a lot of man coverage last week, albeit it was against the Giants. It's not to say they're going to do it this week, but you're going to see a healthy dose of cover 1 man. Last week, they ran at 33% of their defensive snaps. That screams that we might see Matthew Golden's first touchdown of the year here, man. Now, the other thing, though, as we all talk about, we got to get that fixed, man. Unbelievable. When you're playing against man coverage, stick with the run, right? The man coverage is going to be a little bit weaker against the run. However, cover 1 man where you probably got a robber rotating in the box is going to help with that run fit too. So you got to be a little bit aware of that. I think you see single high safety. I want to see some more of those cross countries, cross corner routes. Maybe, last week, what did we put on tape? You guys remember on Chalk Talk, we showed the cross corner route. This week, you might run the crossers. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And
just go ahead and run it all the way out. So I'm excited to see what Matthew Golden does tonight. What do you think, Jacob? What would be a good night for Matthew Golden tonight? You think, man?
Well, I can tell you that I was just looking at it. Prize Picks has his over-under set at 34.5 receiving yards. So more than they had last week. I would look for him possibly to get a little more involved. I wouldn't think anything crazy, but I think maybe 3 catches for around 40 or 50, maybe a tud.
Okay. What about you, Emilio? What are you thinking?
Hey, I'll take that. That's closing in on his 300 for the quarter of the year. He needs to get a little bit more touches. Nothing wrong with Jordan just going to what he knew. I think that it might open up a little bit more against the Commanders here, just because you saw what happened when the Lions tried to go man and fill the box. I mean, it's the run stop, the wide receivers went off. Golden was beating his man. I think that if they try to run that same scheme against him, you're going to have a problem. And Dan Quinn does like to lean on man, but that's every time you run man in college football, Clay, what happens, man? If you don't get to the quarterback early, you're burned. You really are. I'm telling you.
Definitely. And that was Matt Schneiden with that tweet, who tweeted that video out. You guys go give it a like. Obviously, you're probably following Matt if you're watching this silly little show. So, all right, we got some news on offensive line. If this holds true, Matt Schneiden tweeted out Packers starting offensive line in warmups. Left tackle, Rasheed Walker. Left guard, Jordan Morgan. Center, Elton Jenkins. Right guard, Sean Ryan, that man right there, a.k.a. Nacho Libre. And starting at right tackle, Anthony Belton. It's either going to be really good or really bad, I believe. Jacob, there's the first noise of the night.
I would say we're running the ball down their throat.
I want to see Anthony Belton to ass. Huh? See what I did there?
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see him pancake compete, which, by the way, I might have to get some pancakes.
BTA. You know what I'm saying?
Man, Mandy made pancakes last Saturday morning, boys. Pancakes and bacon. I hadn't had pancakes in forever. I was sitting in there watching. It was took me back to watching Saturday morning cartoons as a kid.
Yeah.
I was in there. I was grinning like a possum in a dumpster, dude. and I was fat as a tick afterwards. I'm just telling you right now, it was
You
bad.
ate it all. Then they cooled down, and then throughout the day, you were still snagging them off the plate. I know she had a little stack in the microwave for you there. You were still eating them throughout the day.
Bro. All I could think about too was draft day. You pancake eating mother. Yes, I am.
It would have been hilarious if Mandy just like hit you with that line. Like you're just in there shoveling it down. She just hit you with it. That would have been great.
How we feel about that offensive line? Seriously, fellas. I feel good about that. I feel pretty darn good about that.
Yeah. I think like what Chris, I've seen a lot of shock in the comments here that people are very surprised that Belton got the nod over Kennard.
Obviously, a little bit.
I am, just because Belton seemed very raw in preseason games, seemed very penalty prone, but we did highlight that they were trying to make a very strong emphasis, which they usually do at the beginning of the year and at the end of the preseason type stuff. I'm hoping that like Natsuku says, that the big maulers on the O-line, like to Emilio's point, hopefully we are just planning a road grade type game. We're going to shove that ball right down their throats and expect them to try to stop it. And if they can't, keep doing it. And if they can, then move on to then one of the other 7 or 8 absolute, talents we have on that offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and here you see Bill Huber tweeted it out, Emilio, number 1 O-line there, that it's showing. Obviously, Jordan dropping back. How you feel about it, man? You feel all right with this offensive line?
That's a wall right there. I'm telling you, man. We've been building that wall, and that's you put Belton on the corner. I like that. If we can get the ball moving downfield with the running game in this first quarter, I would be super happy. You're expecting Morgan to take a step this year. He's gotten through the injury. He was first round pick. We want to see him, succeed right there. Having a little bit of, friendship with Elton down there. You're good buddies with Rashid. You were fighting to get his spot, but hey, you're both out there on the line at this point. You need to communicate, talk your stunts, all that. Belton will probably have a tight end over there. We'll probably have, a chip from the back. And let's just get through it. You're going to have some rough patches. Jordan knows it, but it's also his front facing. He can see if that rush is coming from Belton. If the dude's getting beat, Jordan's looking at that. It's not his blind side, so I'm not as worried about it like that. But let's get the ball run down.
What we've seen with Jordan Morgan at left tackle in the preseason, where he just looked absolutely phenomenal. I think he's more comfortable at left guard than right guard. So I really like this. Listen, I want Aaron Banks out there. Don't get me wrong, but I think that it's not much of a drop off from Aaron Banks at left guard to Jordan Morgan at left guard. I don't know how you guys feel about that. It just seems more natural him playing on the left side rather than the right. And I love that they've cross-trained him. That way, if you need to go back to it later, you can. Sean Ryan, though, Jacob, it's amazing, man. 2 years ago, I would have been shaking in my boots thinking about Sean Ryan playing right guard. Now I feel confident in the guy, man.
Yeah, one of those guys that maybe just took a couple years to really make it click. I think he's an ex-wrestler as well, so got kind of that different type of bear strength. I agree with your point, though, about Jordan Morgan probably playing more comfortable at the left guard. Is that because he basically played left tackle his whole football career? So it's just a little bit, they always talk about, it's easy just to switch from the left to the right. Well, all right, you start wiping your butt with the other hand and tell me how easy that is, because that's kind of similar as to just assuming that everything's going to go click and transfer as far as like your talent, the ability with your footwork, the stab, all that kind of stuff. It just seems like it's easier said than done. So I'm excited to see him at left guard. I saw over here, Mr. Darrell was thinking that we should put Kennard at left tackle. I don't agree with that. I don't want to
come in hot with the hot take. All right.
I don't want to switch up 3 positions when we can only do 2. But yeah, that's just how I feel about that. I really hope that Belton could absolutely silence a lot of doubters. And if he comes out and he just is aggressive, we just need him to play a little under control. I'm assuming that he might get a penalty or 2. That's okay with a rookie, as long as you're playing really hard to the whistle and absolutely making guys look like chumps. Let's go. I'm ready for it.
You see Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, Savion Williams, Josh Jacobs, and Emmanuel Wilson here coming out of the tunnel, breaking it down in the tunnel. Savion Williams, man, is he going to be our return guy, you think? Kind of feels like he might be a return guy, right?
Yep, yeah. Absolutely. I think he's got it. He's got that kind of mentality. He ran Wildcat a lot. That's basically what you're doing. Just with a different set of blockers up in front of you. Find the lane, hit it, and you can be physical at the same time. He's smart. You saw the explosive he had off the first one this year. Let's see what happens this game. See if he can't break another one. No penalties.
Yeah, definitely. All right, going back to the PFF preview real quick, just want to mention the line has moved a touch. Obviously, earlier in the week, the market was at 3.5-point favorites. It has now moved to 3-point favorites for the Green Bay Packers. However, PFF still has it at the Packers being 3.6-point favorites, okay? In terms of the money, with the spread there, with the Packers being officially 3-point favorites, it looks like 51% of the money is on Green Bay, and 55% of the tickets came in on the Commanders. You like to see that even split there, right? You want it to be as close to 50-50 as possible. However, the money line winning outright, essentially what it means, guys, with odds of -177 for the Packers, if you pick the Packers to just win outright, or it's a +149 for the Commanders to win outright. That makes me a little bit more nervous because the public is all over the Packers. I know some people hear that and they go, hey, man, that's great news. That means everybody thinks the Packers are going to win. Yeah, it also means Vegas knows what the hell they're doing here too. So when you look at the money line, 79% of the money is on the Packers, 83% of the bets, the slips, the actual individual bets are in on the Packers as well. So heavily favored for the Packers in terms of the public being on Green Bay for the money line, but the spread seems pretty 50-50 split there when you take into account the money and the tickets. All right. Anything you guys want to add to that with the line moving? Are we overly concerned about that? I think that's pretty par for the course. Try to get that money as even as possible for the spread. And obviously I think they did a pretty damn good job of it, they being Vegas.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that. Like you said, it's always weird how accurate Vegas is. Like I'm not a conspiracy guy. You guys know that. I would never go into conspiracies.
No, not you, man.
No,
it is a little shocking how accurate these projections are usually.
Yeah. We got 510 people in here. We got 206 on YouTube, and we're up to 116 likes. Y'all have crushed it. If you just jumped into the stream, welcome. Thank you for making us part of your pregame festivities. Hit that like button for us really, really quick right underneath the video here. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Let's go to the lineups real quick. Let's go with our offense against their nickel and just take a quick glance. Again, we talked about Kinlaw, had a great game last week, and 89.7 was the grade. But, guys, that is definitely an outlier from what he's done his entire career, right? I mean, you're talking about a 54, 50, 31, 53, 53. I feel okay there, man. I don't feel like he's a game wrecker. We talked about this earlier. Daron Payne had a much better career. However, he hasn't been like elite or anything, right? 67, 67, 70, 63, 64, 61, 51. Some would say he's been on the decline there the last 3 years. Obviously, had a good game last week, but it was against the Giants. I wouldn't consider him a Tuesday player. Von Miller is the one I'm a little worried about, right? If he gets hot, you see what he's done his entire career. And last year, Jacob, 85.5, man, he was solid last year. So Von Miller is the one I would try to. Hey, look, when he's on the field, what is his numbers? Is he number 24? When 24 is on the field, just pay a little extra attention there, right? I'm not saying you should always dedicate an extra blocker to him, but that's the guy I will be on the lookout for sure. So anything you guys want to add there to their defensive front?
No, I mean, I think we have the ability to Armstrong was another guy. If you click on him, I want to say that he outperformed. Like, all these guys are prime suspects for negative regression, just as far as their snaps go, or as far as their grades go. So, if they can hold it together again, they played the Giants. I think the Giants probably looked better than most people thought they would, but it's the Giants, and they're in a very much of a rebuilding type situation. They're not the Packers that are jamming open that Super Bowl window. So I look for them to, again, those grades to regress quite a bit tonight.
And on the prime pregame here, boys, watching, they're right across the street from Lambeau Field at one of the houses. And they actually just showed this huge pot, and it looked like they were Bull & Brats and beer, right? And the cook pulled a Washington Commanders jersey out of the beer. Like, they had cooked a Commanders jersey in there. So it's going to be a lot of fun tonight, man. Lambeau looks so beautiful out there. Sun setting just right. Man, love it. All right. In the secondary here, Will Harris, again, you see just on the main screen, 84.3. Damn, he's a dog. No, not really. 55, 50, 42, 63, 43, 61. Again, just had a good game against the Giants. Jacob, you hit the nail on the head. Emilio, what do you think, man? It feels like these guys are poised to take kind of a step back from last week. You know what I'm saying? other than Bobby Wagner, of course.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's just you got to put the pressure on them. I think you need to make them make the mistakes. As long as we can play a clean game and just keep moving the ball forward, don't get too far behind in the sticks. If we have a 3rd and 12, I mean, we got to deal with it, But let's try to stay positive in that aspect. You get your 3 yards on first, get maybe a play action, get 7 on first or second, whatever. But don't get yourself too far behind. Because that's kind of where they want. Imagine we get up to a touchdown or 2 lead. Where goes their pass rush? I mean, you're looking at all their scores. All those numbers are inflated because of their pass rush. That Armstrong dude pass rush 35 times or something, 32, 35 times, and only 8 run snaps. So it's like let's wear you out a little bit with the run. Let's play the physical game. If you're going to put Belton out there, you're going to put all that weight out there. You're going to build that wall. We need to use that thing to our advantage, and we need to run them. We just need to run it down their throat. Let's make them make the business decision of, are you wanting to tackle Josh Jacobs for 60 straight minutes? If not, all right, we'll swing in Emmanuel and we'll go.
And one of the things that the Commanders did offensively last year a lot is they ran a lot of muddle huddle. They would go empty set, hurry up, kind of an up-tempo offense. So look for a little bit of that tonight as well. When you look at their offensive line, Laramie Tunzel is by far their best offensive lineman. Outside of him, guys, it's a pretty mediocre offensive line, kind of a young offensive line. But when it comes to Laramie Tunzel, the other thing to look out for is, it's my understanding, I think it was Coach Gruden that said this on his breakdown, he led all tackles in penalties last year, I believe it was, if I remember correctly. So he's somebody who plays very undisciplined. So you get that crowd amped up. If LaFleur gets them going on the sideline, right, get a couple penalties early, get them behind the sticks, that's going to help you in stopping Jaden Daniels in this offense for sure. In terms of wide receiver, of course, Terry McLaurin, he's a dog, had a bad game an average game last week, but you see his career grades. It speaks for itself, man. 85, 78, 78, 79, 75, 82. That's the receiver I'd be keying in on the stop. And, of course, Deebo Samuel has been really, really good throughout his career as well. So you really want to key in those 2 guys. It's showing Eckler as the starter. We already talked about it, though. Bill, right? Bill is definitely the guy that you want to keep your eye on when they get into some of those heavier sets and try to run the rock against you. So anything else? Thank you for that, Nick. I see he confirmed that's what he said about the I think it was about Laramie Tunzel leading the league in penalties. Anything else y'all want to add to the offense? We'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. We're getting close to kickoff, man. This pregame show flew by.
Yeah, it did. No, man. Oh, actually, there was one great question from Too Old for This. Who that ref gonna be tonight?
I think somebody in our Patreon group, I want to give a shout out. I think they actually did the work for us.
Here you go, Jacob. Bringing up a question we don't know the answer to.
Well, this is why we have the chat, Emilio.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. The chat saved me last night. Where's Soder? We need to just
Here it is.
pull it out.
Shout out in our Patreon group. Pack Rob said, "Ref watch with the red alarm signals." Right. Brad Rogers is head ref for this week. What a dirtbag Brad Rogers is. That's what I can call it. There's nothing that gives me more joy than calling each. I don't care which ref it is every week. We're always going to refer to him as a dirtbag. So,
except for Ed Hockley.
Except for this man.
Except for that man right there.
That guy too, yeah.
So, all right, guys, there you go. There's your preview. We'll end it with this. Tim out there, boots on the ground tonight, man. And boy, oh boy, look at that over in lot 1 doing the damn thing right. Man, that food is so good. It's crazy too that I'm almost positive the video I shot when I was up there 2 years ago in December walking through the tailgate, this right here, there was a guy at this exact tent, I'm almost positive, that was cooking steak. And whoever it was that was behind the grill, they were wobbling. Let me tell you, buddy, their check liver light was blinking. He was just still going at it, cooking, man. I think there was some John Bon Jovi blasting through the speakers. My man was leaned up on the table trying not to fall over, cooking steak. I'm like, why have I not moved up here yet? But
Jacob, you got that cut off right there, or what?
Got what?
You got that cut off?
With these little
I got a whole bunch of cutoffs, buddy. I got deep V's.
Oh, yeah, you would. Yeah, you got the ones that cut. You just got an inch left on the side of the shirt, just holding that thing together.
Absolutely.
Look at AFAM, man, asking the important questions. He says, anyone playing the accordion? Glad you asked. You know Tim's got it in here for us, boys. Watch us get hit with a copyright. This will be
Gotta have a little polka.
Wow.
got a little polka, man. Careful, Jacob, saying polka, man. This is a family program here, sir. All right. Ain't trying to get us canceled like that. All right. There was something else Tim just posted. I think he posted on walking into the stadium. Let me get back and try to find it here real quick. His X crapped out. We're going to be late for the kickoff. I don't care, man. This is going to be worth it right here. So Tim giving us a little shot. He says the walk into Lambeau never gets old, right? Here we go. Let's check them out going in. Gosh, you love to see it, man. Is it not beautiful?
Telling you.
Awesome.
Yeah, lady right there with the old school Redskins logo about to get kicked out on her head. The guy with the hat, too. Isn't it funny how the Washington fans have no problem with calling them the Redskins, but it seems like the people from other fan bases are the ones that are offended by it. It's amazing how that works.
Yeah.
Weird.
But that place is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at Thursday Night Prime down there on the field.
What a spot. How many
Yeah,
touchdowns do you think Tim's going to see up close tonight?
Oh, my gosh. You kidding me, dude? It's going to be awesome. Absolutely awesome. All right. That's it. Anything else, boys? Anything at all y'all want to hit on before we wrap up?
No.
No.
About that
Let's just
time.
go out there and get that dub. Let's get a score prediction quick, huh?
Ah, gosh, I hate this part. All right, let's talk about it. You go first, Emilio. I'm putting you on the spot. Score prediction. What are you thinking, man?
Get over here. Belt to ass. BTA. Know what I'm saying?
That's the only score prediction you need.
Yeah, I just 24-17 Pack.
24-17. I like that. I think that's
I'm gonna
pretty
go
solid.
27-13.
27-13. All right.
Packers.
Pretty close to mine, Jacob.
I'm gonna go a little bit different. I'm gonna go. I think it's gonna be 24-21 Packers. Game winning field goal.
Wow. No faith in Halfley, Clay, to keep it under 20?
Hey man, listen, this Commanders team a little bit different, built a little bit different. There's got to be one or two games in this season, you know what I mean, that you're going to give up some points. I think this might be it. But again, I think we pull it out. I do, man. So, damn, Reef said 40-12. Sign me up, Reef.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Tim's going to be partying. They put up 40.
Yeah.
Jagger says 33-27. I could see that. A little five-point game, right? Yeah. Love it. CJN. Okay, how about 27-21? All right. Got it.
Good.
Yeah.
Donovan
Schilling says 86-24. That sounds lovely right there. That sounds like the UT game I went to the other day.
Yeah.
God, it was bad. It was so bad, man. 30 to our Packers, 20. Huh? What was this?
Just made it 30 to the Packers, 20 for Washington.
Oh, okay. Got you. All right, man. I'm slow, Karen. I'm sorry. But yeah. Keyron. All right. That's it, guys. We're going to get out of here. I'm going to run downstairs, grab me a daddy soda, get ready for this game, and try not to scream, hoot, holler, and cuss the TV when any little thing goes wrong. You guys know. It's funny. People watch the show, and they're like, Clayton's really calm talking about. You have no idea. I'm a damn mess over here, man. So anyway, that's it. We appreciate everybody hanging out. Hit that like button for us on the way out. Y'all got us boosted all the way up to 129 likes. You absolutely crushed it. Just smash it one more time if you haven't already on the way out. Thank y'all so much for hanging out for the PTA pregame show. I'm going to get the stream created immediately. So if you guys want to hop into the postgame stream and just use that as a chat in the comments section, we won't go live until the game's over, but you guys can comment in there. I'll be hanging out in there as well. So if y'all just want to kind of have a little in-game chat, but everybody enjoy the game, and we will see you for the postgame show.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.